One stage, shaping the digital future we build together. Digital at UNGA.
Excellencies, distinguished guests here in New York and watching online around the world, welcome to Digital on UNGA, the WSIS+20 edition. My name is Femi OK. I am your MC for the next 3 hours. I am your MC, Femi OK. It is my pleasure to get the opening remarks onto the stage with our special co-hosts. From the ITU, the Secretary General, Doreen Bogdan-Martin. Welcome, good afternoon. Thank you for hosting us.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you for being here at Digital at UNGA, the platform ITU and UNDP created to really leverage the energy and the momentum of the UNGA to spotlight the most critical digital issues shaping our collective future. This gathering and the spirit behind it is rooted in a story that began more than 2 decades ago, when nations of the world gathered to build an information society, not passively, but as makers of our own destiny. That was the message. That was the challenge given to delegates that gathered at the first phase of the WSIS in Geneva in 2003, hosted by the late Secretary General Kofi Annan. Today is about shaping that collective destiny at a time when digital has never been higher on a global agenda, on the UN agenda, across the world and beyond. Today is about making the leap from an information society to an intelligent society. And to do that, we must keep the inclusive, people-centered, multi-stakeholder approach that has been the engine of the WSIS since its very beginning. Why? Because technology alone does not automatically lead to progress. True progress is only possible when humanity, inclusion, and sustainability guide the digital decisions that we make. Here at Digital at UNGA, by UNDP and ITU, we'll showcase how this WSIS community is making that happen in 3 key ways. First, by honoring our past and where we came from, reminding ourselves of the power of the multi-stakeholder model and of the potential of the information age. Second, by realizing that potential through investment, ladies and gentlemen, in concrete, measurable actions to meaningful connectivity and sustainable digital transformation to every community everywhere in this decade. And third, we'll look to the future. We'll look at what lies ahead in the next 20 years and beyond, inspiring us to continue building an intelligent society that is open and inclusive, with the well-being of people and planet at its core. ITU is proud to be at the heart of all of this work, convening stakeholders, coordinating across the UN family through the UNGA process, helping our 194 member states and over 1,000 companies, academia, civil society, the technical community, put technology at the service of humanity. That's something we've been doing for 160 years, including with our sister agencies, UNESCO, who's here today, and they will be opening Act 1 in just a few moments. Their leadership in facilitating so many WSIS action lines reminds us of how powerful this community can be when we work together. So now, without further ado, let's get into today's program and to the journeys and the pledges and the perspectives that will inspire our thinking at the WSIS+20 as the deliberations continue to unfold here at the General Assembly. Thank you all for being here. Femi, where are you? Back to you.
Thank you, Doreen. Thank you. I know you're going to be on stage so many times.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for it. We're kind of co-moderating together. Also with Liang Xu, who is the Associate Administrator for the UNDP. It's good to have you.
I saved 3 seconds by doing this.
I appreciate it. You see, it takes a village of partnerships.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Femi. Really good to see you again. And Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to be here together with you and with Doreen, the Secretary General for the ITU, to undertake this joint venture, the UN Digital at UN UNGA. And I would like to first, convey our best wishes from our new administrator, Alexander De Croo, for today's event. He had hoped to be here in person, but he's traveling. So he have to miss this event, but he wanted me to convey his wholehearted support and appreciation of the important discussions that we're going to have here today. So as Doreen said, today we are celebrating stories of how digital technologies support people and the planet. And we also are celebrating our vision. 20 years ago, leaders from all sectors come together and determined to chart a path where digital technologies could support sustainable development and prosperity. And first in Geneva in 2003, and then in Tunis in 2005. And the rest is the history, right? So the outcomes of these meetings charted an ambitious path at a time when technologies were becoming more and more central to many aspects of life. UNDP is proud to have played a critical role in the WSIS then and all throughout to present day. 20 years ago, 1 billion people, or about 16% of the planet's population were connected online. In 20 years, this number has grown to about 3/4 of the world. So this is a tremendous progress. But today is also about the other side of this figure, right? Because still 1/4 of the world's population are still offline. So millions more do not have meaningful or affordable access. And many millions more do not have the benefit of digital identification or digital finance, or lack the digital skills needed to navigate online. Now also the artificial intelligence offers incredible opportunities, but only if we can bend the AI equity curve to ensure that benefits are equally distributed and the risks are mitigated. Today is about both celebrating progress and charting a path forward. At UNDP, we are convinced of the power of digital technologies for accelerating development and serving people and the planet. We are working with more than 130 countries around the world to support locally owned and inclusive digital technologies. We are partnering with pioneers to build safeguards, to build a digital future that is safe and inclusive. We're unlocking opportunities for people around the world through digital identification, payment systems, and data exchange that support innovation, livelihoods, and social protections. We are supporting governments in building the digital skills and the capabilities that underpin inclusive digital societies. Of course, we are not doing this alone. We are working in partnership with governments, with companies, and with civil society. Crucially, we work in close partnership with the UN family. UNDP is pleased to partner with ITU on the Digital at UN UNGA, and this initiative, and also in today's event, with the rest of the UN family, and with the stakeholders across all sectors, and to realize the WSIS outcomes that we're seeking for, to serve people and the planet, as Doreen mentioned earlier. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
As co-host, Hao Liang Shu will be back on this stage many times this afternoon. I'm just thinking, what did we not have in our digital world 20 years ago that we have today? YouTube, anything else? Please shout it out. We are a digital family, are we not? Streaming. Do we have a doctor in the room? Did you die? YouTube, anything else? Streaming. Streaming, correct answer. Thank you. Anything else? Social media, yes. Phones, smartphones, love it. Anything else? AI, you are so brilliant, you can stay. All right. What we are doing in our first act is looking at 20 years. 20 years, 20 journeys. What have the impact been? And to get us started, we have Taufik Jelassi, Assistant Director General for Communication and Information at UNESCO. Good afternoon. Thank you. I like the drama. The pace with which you came onto stage. Now we're all anticipating. What could you possibly say?
First of all, I was told no notes, no slides, no prompter. Only the principals can have notes. So we talk about drama. So a little warning first. I speak few languages, but all of them with a foreign accent, including my mother tongue. When I go back home and I speak the local dialect, people ask me what country I come from. So bear with me for the next 3 minutes, and I'll try to beat the cowbell. I don't know why I was put first to talk about the last 20 years. I guess somebody thought I'm an analog person. I am not a hybrid nor a digital native, and I think they are right. So 20 years ago, I was in Tunis as a guest speaker at the second edition of WSIS. For me, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you today in New York to celebrate WSIS+20. What have you achieved since? In 2003, 2005, we had only, can you tell me how many people were connected to the internet in the early days of WSIS? No, not 1.5 billion, less. 800 million people. And today, 6 billion people. So when we talk about have we achieved something, at least when we think of these numbers, from 800 million people connected in 2003 to the internet to 6 billion today, that's quite a progress. 95% of the people have access to mobile broadband technology today. What did that mean? Of course, we have democratized access to information, to knowledge, to education, to health, and to other services. But the digital divide has widened since. We have the information-rich and the information-poor people, the knowledge-rich and the knowledge-poor people. And obviously, it's not only about digital divides, it's about inequalities. It's about, of course, not having people on board, whether it is indigenous communities or the rate of women and girls are lower than the rate of men connected online, people with special needs and others who we did not pay enough attention to. You know, there are 7,000 languages in the world. How many are online? How many languages are present online among the 8,000 that exist in the world? Any idea? 1,000. Only 1,000. So obviously we have to do much more if we want to have multilingualism in cyberspace, because some communities do not speak the languages that are present online. New challenges, new risks. We heard from technology, you mentioned social media, mobile phones, streaming, and the like. But also we have to think of risks, misinformation, disinformation, hate speech online, and other harmful online content being produced and disseminated at an exponential rate today. As you know, Davos last January put disinformation as the #1 global risk, not only for this year, for the coming 2 years as well, ahead of climate change, environmental crisis, migration, conflicts, etc. Disinformation is the #1 global risk. That's also in the UNSG report of last March. And why it was put #1 by Mr. Antonio Guterres? For 2 reasons. The negative impact it has on individuals, communities, societies, and #2, the vulnerability of countries. Countries are not ready to tackle disinformation today. And that's obviously a big danger. I think Doreen mentioned one of the uniqueness of WSIS, the inclusive multi-stakeholder approach, which WSIS has pioneered, also with the IGF, the Internet Governance Forum, and I think that's something very important to have all voices, governments, regulators, civil society, academia, research institutions, and the like. But also, if you want to tackle the challenges and the risks of today, we need to work together on a global scale to create a vibrant, rights-based knowledge society. So we have moved from what was at the time in 2005, it was very much a vision to create people-centered, inclusive, development-oriented information society. I think it was Doreen who mentioned the intelligence society or the knowledge society. That's a major change, of course, over time. And UNESCO has been honored to lead 6 action lines among the 11 action lines of UNESCO. We'll continue our commitment, we'll continue to champion this cause. But let me close by saying, what we thought in 2005 was a digital revolution was in fact only the beginning of it. I think the real digital revolution started happening today with generative AI, agentic AI, and the like. So we have to rethink our strategy. We have to seize the opportunities. We have to mitigate the risks if we want everybody to benefit from technology. 2 key questions in my mind. How can digital transform lives worldwide? How can digital make people more successful in whatever they do? Thank you. I think I'm avoiding the bell.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. You broke the lectern. We're taking it off the stage now. We are going to take a look through 20 years of digital progress. We start with digital inclusion. Let's take a look. So the speakers who you will see this afternoon, they have to go through a process. This is Mr. Justin Foster. Did you see him? Very good. He will be holding your microphone speakers. If you come on this side, Justin will be on this side, then we have a logistics issue. So I recommend that you go where Justin is so that he gives you a microphone, then you come on this way. Is that a good plan? Right? Okay, that is our plan. Do not bypass Justin, otherwise you will sound... And I don't recommend that. All right, Justin, we're working together. This is a good partnership. Excellent. We start with Savanka Dhanapala, Director of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees Office in New York. Beautifully done. I love that handover. I exit stage left.
I should be in a relay, the baton. Big thanks to ITU and UNDP for inviting us to this event. As the UN Refugee Agency, we actually don't find ourselves in these kind of spaces too often. We're more known for delivering protection and life-saving assistance, relief items, cash, really being on the front lines of humanitarian action. But times have changed, and so have the needs of displaced persons, those forced to flee. Connectivity is no longer a luxury. For people forced to flee, it's a necessity, it's a lifeline to education, a lifeline to livelihoods, a lifeline really to a future. In 2022, UNHCR adopted our first ever digital strategy spanning a number of objectives: digital services, digital protection, and digital inclusion. Our goal was simple. It was to advance connectivity for 20 million forcibly displaced persons and their host communities by 2030. To get there, together with the ITU, the GSMA, and the government of Luxembourg, we launched the Connectivity for Refugees initiative. It's a multi-stakeholder effort to open a new front in how we protect, how we empower, and how we include people forced to flee. We've developed plans to advance access and affordability of connectivity in 35 countries, hosting around 80% of the world's displaced. We're active in 15 today and aim to support 25 by next year. But this is only the start. Let me quickly speak to 3 challenge areas: inclusion, access, and uptake. When we come to inclusion, we think it's a right to be connected. In the 35 countries Connectivity for Refugees plans to work in, some 10 million refugees cannot legally get online. We work with government partners to change this. For example, in Kenya, refugee IDs are being recognized now for SIM card registration and digital financial services under the Shirika plan. Thank you, Ambassador, for that. We do this with the IFC and private sector actors like Safaricom. 2, access. Connectivity needs to be where the people are. Right now, we're working to bring investments from mobile network operators and internet service providers to enable access to some 15 million persons. A couple of examples. In Chad, Airtel and Move are strengthening their networks in eastern Chad, vital for new arrivals fleeing Sudan. In Ethiopia, we are piloting with Cisco settlement-wide Wi-Fi solutions, linking schools, health centers, and connected spaces. In the DRC, we are piloting an innovative tripartite partnership with Eutelsat and Orange Group to deliver sustainable satellite-based connectivity in 6 internally displaced communities. Now, I'm sure we all agree, having impact with connectivity requires anchoring this work in national systems and economic development. And this is why we engage with the World Bank and the IFC in helping governments integrate refugees into digital infrastructure investment and national digital strategies for access. Finally, uptake. It's critical that connectivity is usable and safe. Even when the rights and coverage exist, usage barriers like cost, device access, energy access skills, and safety can limit use. So we're trying to change that. To conclude, to reach 20 million people by 2030, we need broader government participation. We need regulators. We need mobile network operators, internet service providers, donors, and, of course, development actors. We urge all partners here to join our dialogue, and together we can ensure that people forced to flee are not left behind in the digital future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know some of you were wondering if the bell was working, and that was your answer. Excellently done. And we were all holding our breath as you said, and to conclude, and we're like, yes, the bell won't ring again. Justin, will you come on stage and demonstrate perfect microphone technique? Stand here. You can tell from his face that we did not rehearse this. No. All right, I always say that when you use a microphone, you use it like you're eating an ice cream. And if you're eating an ice cream down here and your tongue is up here, this is a very difficult way to eat an ice cream, correct? Even here, it's quite difficult. How would you eat an ice cream, Justin?
Oh, you don't want to see that. I would destroy it. You would put it close to your face.
Really close.
Really close.
Really close. All right. And then what happens when it's that close?
You can hear me?
Oh, amazing. You can tell I went to school. Justin, you went to school too. Thank you. Thank you for that demonstration. We appreciate it. We're so needy. So many instructions to the speakers. It's like going to school. All right. But I don't have to give any instructions to our next speaker. Ola Diwura Oladepo is the Executive Director for Tech for Development. She joins us virtually. Hello, Ola.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thought hard about the best way to start this address, and I realized that there's probably no better way to start by to share the story of Khadija, a Tech for Dev beneficiary based in Lagos, Nigeria. So Khadija is a young mother and a mathematics teacher who earned less than $35 a month. She wanted to do more for herself and her family, but she didn't just have the right access to digital skills needed to participate in today's economy. But that changed when she joined the Women Texas Fellowship, our free digital skilling program for women across Africa. She learned data science with Tech for Dev, received mentorship, built real project experience, and was supported in applying for jobs. Interestingly, just 4 months into the one-year program, Khadija secured a remote role as a data scientist for a US-based company, earning more than 15 times her previous income. Today, Khadija is able to provide for her children and is able to build a career in technology. Khadija's story reflects what becomes possible when women and underserved communities gain access to quality technology skills training and get access to employment pathways. This is the work we do at Tech for Dev. Through initiatives like the Women Techsters, we're equipping 5 million African women by 2030 with market-ready digital skills and connecting them to jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities in fields such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, software engineering, data science, and amongst others. And I believe that these align strongly with why we're here today. The WSIS commitment creates an ecosystem where organizations like ours can enable real economic opportunities through digital inclusion. As we mark the Digital UNGA today, may we continue to build a world where access to digital skills leads to employment, dignity, and prosperity for millions of people like Khadija. Thank you very much.
The CEO for the Global Coalition on Aging is Michael W. Hodden. Michael, it is good to have you. Thank you so much. There is a backstory to Michael coming a little bit earlier on today. He will tell you during refreshments at the end of the day, but right now he's on a mission. Thank you. Good afternoon. Please come and join us.
Yes, you found the right picture. Well, hello, everyone. The Global Coalition on Aging is the business voice of aging. And I'd like to leave you with one major point, and that is when WSIS brought in the older adult section, it wasn't out of hoping that you can help older adults per se, or even inclusion, but it was because it recognized that there are two megatrends today in our 21st century. The one is digital innovation. We're all about that today. And the second is aging of society. And let me explain what the aging of society means, and perhaps you come away with an understanding of this megatrend. There are two elements to it. One is that we have great longevity today. We have reached a miracle that for the history of humanity has been unimaginable. Life to 100. Now, everyone on the planet does not have that yet, but we are getting there. A young girl born in New York, Tokyo, London, many other countries around the world, is like, in the late 90s, is likely to see 3 centuries. Think of that. This is remarkable. It's a remarkable achievement as a result of miracles of the 20th century, largely in biomedicine, but also in scaling of sanitation. So today there are 2 billion of us on the planet over 55, It'll double in the next couple decades. But the real impact is that there is, around the world, in every society, everywhere in this room that you represent, low birth rates. Stunningly low birth rates where we are depopulating. So the big factor is there are more old than young. So I want to leave you with this major point, and which is why business is interested in digital technology and the aging of society. The silver economy today is roughly $22 trillion. That's kind of a big number. The very important element is that in populations where there are more old than young, we will simply not be able to achieve economic growth and technological innovation unless we think of this older adult as a part of society, economy, and digital inclusion. So thank you all for appreciating this great point. Gitanjali, when we started working about 5-6 years ago, bringing the older adult population in, we found that we had the prize, the Healthy Aging Innovation Prize. So I invite all of you to be part of this silver economy.
Thank you, Michael. I'm slightly triggered by that bell because as you might be able to hear, I'm Nigerian, but also British. And last orders sounds like this. So it sounds like it's 11 p.m. in a pub somewhere in London. But I know where we really are. As we continue our journey through 2 decades of WSIS, we're going to have a look at sustainable digital transformation. I love the diversity and the high-level speakers that we have brought together this afternoon. I'm so impressed. Bernard Mason, His Excellency, the Secretary of State for Switzerland, joins us. And even though he's high level, he is still going to deliver incredible remarks in just 3 minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I will try to make only 3 minutes. Excellencies, distinguished guests, as we approach the 20th anniversary of WSIS, the digital landscape has changed dramatically. AI, data governance, and misinformation now dominate global debates, while billions still lack meaningful connectivity. At the same time, the connection between digitalization and sustainable development is being raised with increasing urgency. While it is important that we recognize our achievements, we must also acknowledge that challenges continue to persist and to evolve. The WSIS+20 review is therefore not just a celebration, like here in this room, of the progress. It's a call to action to ensure digital technologies serve all of humanity, deliver on addressing the digital divides, and duly take into account sustainability for the future, leaving no one behind. We have done a lot in the last 20 years, but next to these achievements, the current digital landscape is becoming more and more complex. With this in mind, the WSIS vision, its principles and action lines remain highly relevant framework for addressing digital policy and governance. Over the years, these values and principles have been reflected in numerous policies and have been continued to evolve through various international instruments. The multi-stakeholder mechanism born by WSIS, notably by IGF and the WSIS Forum, have proven their resilience. They have successfully adapted to a rapidly changing digital environment and to the opportunities and challenges posed by both established and emerging technologies. The WSIS cooperation architecture needs to remain the foundation for advancing the WSIS vision. At the same time, it needs to evolve and to adapt. For Switzerland, the way forward is building on WSIS strengths as a WSIS Plus. WSIS Plus means creating a stronger, more interconnected and inclusive framework for digital governance and cooperation and integrating the ambitions of the Global Digital Compact. Rather than creating parallel processes, we must unify them, streamlining governance, avoiding this duplication and leveraging synergies between multi-stakeholder approach and the multilateral collaboration that was made WSIS so impactful. In doing so, we need to maintain the spirit of collaboration that has always been at the heart of WSIS. Digital governance is not something that any one country or organization can tackle alone. A truly open and inclusive process inspired by the Sao Paulo multi-stakeholder guidelines is the best for working together towards a common goal. The Geneva ecosystem, with its unique concentration of international organization, expertise and multi-stakeholder platforms, provides a natural environment to help address these old and new challenges in a collaborative and coherent way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Mason. The international nature of our program becomes more and more clear as you hear all of the countries, the regions that our speakers come from. We head to the UAE next with the Telecommunications and Digital Government Regulatory Authority from the UAE. His Excellency, Engineer Majed Al-Mesma. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Excellencies, colleagues, good afternoon to all of you. When we speak of a sustainable digital transformation, we often treat it as a goal to be reached. In the United Arab Emirates, we view it a bit different. We view it as a constant state of evolution. Our journey over the last 20 years wasn't accidental. It was engineered upon three specific pillars. First is the backbone. Decades ago, the UAE made a strategic choice to invest heavily in our telecom sector. We didn't wait for the demand to exist before building the supply. We built world-class connectivity and broadband networks first, knowing that the digital economy would follow. Today, that investment is the catalyst for everything we do. It is why we are one of the most connected nations on earth. Second is the mindset of our government. We didn't just digitize paper forms. We completely reimagined how the state interacts with its people. We moved from electronic government to smart and now digital government. This was not just a change in terminology. It was a change in velocity. We went from putting services on websites to putting the entire government services in our citizens' pockets. Third is our digital public infrastructure. We realized early that you cannot build a sustainable digital future on fragmented system. You need a unified foundation. This is why we built the government secure cloud and established the UAE Pass as our national digital identity. These are not just IT projects. They are the rails upon which our digital economy runs. They allow the private sector to innovate faster, and they allow the government to serve efficiently, securely, and without frictions. Colleagues, sustainability in the digital age does not mean standing still. It means having the infrastructure that allows you to adapt. The UAE's journey from a telecom-focused nation to a global leader in DPI proves one thing. If you build the right foundation, the future does not just happen to you. You build it. Thank you very much. I think I've made it less than 3.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We appreciate your sensitivity about our timekeeping. We are just a mere 90 minutes away from refreshments and food, just a mere 90 minutes away. All right, so as we look, 90 minutes, it's 90 minutes, but it's going to be a short 90 minutes. The time will fly by, I promise you. As we look at the last 20 years, we cannot do that without looking at digital public infrastructure. Joining us, the Director General for the Department of Communication and Digital Technologies in South Africa, Nonko Bella Tata Gashay Jordan Gianni. Oh, I said that with confidence, but no, it was not absolutely right. But I did it confidently.
Nonko Bella.
I can't click. We can do that later in 90 minutes' time. You can teach me how to click. All right.
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, partners in the room, good afternoon. An honor to deliver this on behalf of the Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies of South Africa, Honorable Solly Malatsi, who is on his way or should have landed in this beautiful city. Earlier this year, South Africa had the privilege of chairing WSIS+20 high-level forum. That experience reinforced something we already knew. WSIS has been one of the most stable, reliable UN process for global digital cooperation. The progress we celebrate today at Digital UNGA builds on that foundation. 20 years ago, we invited the world to commit to a people-centered, inclusive, development-oriented information society, a society that is built on meaningful access, inclusion, capacity building, trust, as well as cooperation. At that time, DPI was not yet a vocabulary for any of us. There was no shared language or interoperability, open standards, or cross-border platforms. Yet the values of the DPI today were already embedded in the WSIS Action Lines. DPI, although it has emerged as a vehicle to translate those values into concrete day-to-day impact. But when we talk about secure digital identity, interoperability, interoperable data systems, digital payment, broad-based broadband, or open platforms, we are not inventing new values. We are operationalizing long-standing commitments, the right to access, which you find in the Action Line 3, or effective governments in ICT applications, which is Action Line 7, or building confidence and security in ICTs, which is Action Line 5, enabling environment, which is Action Line 6, investing in capacity building or encouraging multi-stakeholder cooperation, which is your Action Line C1 as well as C11. So these action lines that have shaped how we build the digital policies have long been there before DPI and became central part of the digital developmental agenda. So as we mark the WSIS+20 moment, the message is clear. WSIS created the shared vision, the principles, the global cooperation model. DPI gives us the tools, as well as the pull together to bring this vision home, to build public infrastructure that delivers services, supports inclusion, promotes rights, and fosters development. The next chapter of our journey together must stay rooted in these principles, the WSIS principles. Technology must remain the service of our people and not the other way around. And as we move forward, South Africa remains committed to working with all of you to make this possible reality. Thank you.
Thank you, and also thank you to everybody who is watching online. We appreciate you streaming and staying with us. I hope you are enjoying your own company as much as we're enjoying the company here in New York. Anyone who's in the room, I just want to make sure that you can see the screens. You can see them well, because you are about to see a few pictures that give us a sense of what is possible. What does impact look like? So make sure you can see the screens. As I bring onto stage Lady Mariam Jameh, is the founder and chief sustainability officer for I Am the Code. I don't want to spoil the pictures, but mwah, chef's kiss. I'm trying not to ruin the plot because it's your story to tell. But the pictures, mwah!
Thank you.
Now you can't wait to see the pictures, I know. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, thank you. Thank you, thank you so much. Doreen, thank you. Thank you and your team for always having me here to share the stories of our wonderful girls in Kenya and all around the world. So by 2030, in 4 years' time, I'll be back here next to Doreen, where I will teach 1 million women and girls how to code programming. So that's the mission of I Am the Code, and that's what we're going to be doing. But before we do that, we need to think about AI is shaping our world. But the future it creates depend on three things, as Doreen always said to us: infrastructure and connectivity. What I Am the Code is bringing is content. Content is what the girls in Kakuma refugee camp and all across the world need. And content that is guided by human-centered values. Next slide. And the young women you see on the screen, I met them when they were 11 years old. I'm 51 years old. And now the girls are 21 years old. Some of them are 19 years old. Some of them are 18 years old. And our success in 89 countries, the first African-led global movement, fully funded platform, is changing lives of millions of young women across the globe. Those girls are refugees. They live in Kakuma refugee camp, home of 900,000 people, 2 camps, Dadaab and Kakuma. Without I Am the Code, the girls will not learn anything. Today, they are learning how to code. They are programmers. I am building one of the biggest pipelines in the world, where young women and girls from Dakar to Cape Town and from Georgia to Syria will learn how to code, because the world of AI is creating a divide. Like when I was young as a child, I didn't go to school, but I'm standing here as a tech pioneer. AI infrastructure must include design. If women, refugees, and young people in fragile societies need to be included, we need to make sure inequality become embedded in our systems. Connectivity, as Doreen said to us a couple of weeks ago, is not a privilege, it's a lifeline. But connectivity alone is not enough. Access without purpose does not create opportunities. And I know that because I learned how to code in the southeast of England, in the United Kingdom, in a library. I was cleaner. I was cleaning people's houses. Then I learned how to code. That's why I'm here today. This is why content matters. Meaningful human-centered content transforms connectivity into skills, dignity, and economic power. At I Am the Code, we are combining AI, literacy, coding, cybersecurity, and human-centered skills. We have 65,000 courses available to young women and girls, because these girls, next slide, I met them when they were 11. Now they are beautiful young women and girls. You know what impact look like? This. Impact look like this. 10 years is a long time. But with infrastructure, connectivity and content, these young girls in January, they'll be going to university because of I Am the Code. Thank you.
Thank you. We conclude our look at the last 2 decades by focusing on digital cooperation. So we thought we'd bring on stage the person who literally it is their job to focus on digital cooperation, the Under-Secretary General and Special Envoy for Digital and Emerging Technologies at the United Nations, Amdeep Singh Gill. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is going to be the best speech, the best remarks, because you live and breathe this. It's in your DNA.
Thank you, Femi. Thank you to ITU and UNDP for bringing us together. This is a special moment. It's a moment of celebration, 20 years of an abiding vision, the vision of a people-centric, inclusive, and development-oriented information society. The vision of a world and of stakeholders united by some common objectives, such as bridging the digital divide. So obviously, it's a moment of celebration. We've achieved a lot. Partners, many of whom are sitting in this room, have worked very hard to reduce the number of people who are not connected, to empower those who are connected with possibilities, not only to use content and access information in their own languages, in their own context, but also, as we saw just now, to build with this infrastructure, to be productive forces in the information society. So that is definitely to be celebrated. But is it the end of our journey? Definitely not. There is still a gaping digital divide, and new kinds of divides are adding on to that digital divide, the data divide, the AI divide. And some of our challenges that we thought we had addressed have come back, have roared back with vengeance. The pursuit of profit without much regard for human rights and safety online, the concentration of power. And by the way, this is not only a risk for those who are not part of that concentration, it's also a risk where that concentration happens, as some are increasingly beginning to recognize. So our path ahead has never been clearer. The Global Digital Compact has given us that cross-cutting platform, that cross-cutting vision of digital cooperation within and across the multilateral forums that we all inhabit. And recently, we've had some good successes to celebrate on artificial intelligence, the Global Governance Dialogue on Artificial Intelligence, the International Independent Scientific Panel, and new options to address the AI divide through innovative approaches to capacity building. So that's what gives us optimism and direction for the future. But we cannot get ahead, we cannot address this ambition without coming together even more strongly across the UN system, but also across some of these artificial divides in terms of different stakeholders. So we have that to celebrate as well, how the multi-stakeholder vision has been strengthened over the years, and it's not only now regarded as essential to negotiations, to consultation, but also to delivery on the ground. Because at the end of the day, that is what matters. So I invite you all to come together. We now have new tools, the implementation map that's been developed across the WSIS and the GDC so that we don't have duplication. We have a digital cooperation portal with more than 2,000 projects that showcase how that unified implementation vision, multi-stakeholder implementation vision is being taken forward. Look forward to working with you, and congratulations to all those who have contributed to the WSIS story, these 20 years of hard work, and thank you very much.
WSIS+20 has two co-facilitators, and they're going to take some time out of their very busy week to talk to us on stage today. Her Excellency Suela Janina is the permanent representative of Albania to the United Nations. Diplomatic incident there almost. And His Excellency Ekitela Lokale is the permanent representative of Kenya to the United Nations. Co-facilitators, how much time do you two spend together?
We come as a package. You know, we come as a package. The first time that you've seen this scene, two persons together.
Right.
We share a lot together, we align our thoughts together, and we thought that we'll be part of this success tomorrow together.
Excellent. What would you say was the biggest success of WSIS over the last 2 decades? What would you pick out?
You wanted to change my post. You want to send me somewhere else. So I'm just thinking, is this an achievement that I'm having today? Or I need to be aware that I'm not doing something good, so UN wants to post me somewhere else?
No. There's no posting. It's like from the heart. What do you feel?
No, indeed, this is seriously a very good question, because I believe I'm also sharing a feeling that we have together, that it has been a great privilege, but at the same time a great responsibility to be leading this process together with a lot of colleagues here. Our position has been trying to put everyone together and to try to have at the end an outcome document that would be forward-looking, balanced, but ambitious at the same time. So if I need to emphasize 2 or 3 takeouts from this process, first I think that we have managed through the process to have WSIS anchored and really relevant in the transforming digital landscape that we have during this time. We have managed, I think, to have this contribution in a way that to be also ambitious, but sometimes this is maybe one of the challenges of the process. Ambition needs to be balanced a little bit with consensus that we are obliged to have in this house. So both of them together are giving an outcome document that we hopefully all ministers and member states will approve during these 2 days, and the discussion during these 2 days will give a path not only for having nice principle, but a way to implement the WSIS vision for a people-centered, inclusive and development-oriented society, but at the same time to renew WSIS to the development of emerging technologies and everything new that we are seeing. Another challenge is also the fact that technology is evolving so fast. Sometimes the processes within UN are not following so with the same pace, so we need to be aware of that.
Excellency Lokale, are you in agreement here with your co-facilitators? Is there something else that you also want to land on, achievements, challenges of WSIS in the past 2 decades?
Thank you very much. Ambassador Yanina and I have spent a lot of time together, and in the process we're increasingly agreeing on a lot of things, so it's difficult to find points of divergence. But just to add, I think the WSIS process, I was privileged to co-facilitate the modality stage of this. And I thought that was the easier bit of it, because when we got reappointed, I didn't know what we were getting into. But every new day, we would meet a very vibrant community that's so passionate about these issues. And you can even tell from the discussions that we're having. A number of things very quickly. First, I think there is a commitment across the board about the relevance of the WSIS vision. I think everybody still shares that it's relevant, it's important, and needs to be protected. The second thing is the IGF. I think, a lot of people agree that it's an important platform that needs to be protected and secured. The third, you'd say, is the need to relevance of the action lines. People think, it's still, as we've seen from the presentations. In terms of the challenges, as expected, and we do this at the UN all the time, there are different viewpoints on issues that stakeholders agree, but the how sometimes is what has made it difficult. So, for example, GDC, or some of the more recent multilateral processes, there's been a divergence of opinion on how to reflect it within the broader WSIS vision. But it's been such a joy to work with, first it was Ambassador Rytis Poloskas of Lithuania, with whom I co-facilitated. I think it's only proper that we recognize his contribution. And then now working with Ambassador Yanina on this. And we hope that the last mile of this goes very well.
I hope so too. Excellencies, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Please take your seats. Thank you. So, 20 journeys in 20 years. You've heard 11 so far. We're going to put together a little slideshow so you can see some of the other great stories from the last 2 decades. Take a look at the screen for a minute. As we head into Act 2 of our event, I want to remind you about Partner to Connect, why it came together and what it has achieved. Take a look at the screen.
It all started with a simple yet ambitious idea. Connect everyone, everywhere, to the power of the internet. Guided by ITU's vision, we built a platform where partners from every sector unite to connect the unconnected. From that vision, Partner to Connect has become a global movement, bringing together over 480 institutions, 30 UN organizations, and mobilizing more than 1,000 pledges, now worth over $80 billion. Together, we are more than a platform. We are a community, a movement, and a force for action. Every pledge, aligned with the WSIS Action Lines, drives real progress in digital inclusion, innovation, and sustainable development. Join us, make your pledge, and help us reach $100 billion by 2026. Your organization can make a difference. Be part of the movement to build a connected world for everyone.
I just want to check that we are in the right mode for pledging. Because when people pledge, they're giving so much, they're making a commitment, and there should be an audible response in the audience. If I did a medium pledge, what would you respond? How would you respond? Medium-sized pledge? Oh, very demanding. All right, a huge pledge, transformative. Oh my goodness, the bell is ringing. A polite pledge, and you're like, yeah, you can do better, give us some more. Oh, that, okay. All right, pledges, if you hear that, We need to up it a little bit. All right, I feel like we are now in pledging mode, which is what Act 2 is all about. And to help us get started, because we're going to hear from Partner to Connect champions, but Doreen from ITU is going to come back and help us start this section. Thanks, Doreen.
Thank you. Great, so now that everybody is in the mood for pledging, let me thank those that put together that terrific video. So as we heard in Act 1, and as our co-facilitators just shared, the WSIS gave us a powerful vision, right? A powerful vision that still stands. That vision of an inclusive, people-centered, development-oriented information society. And of course, it helped us to build that shared understanding that digital development means leaving no one behind. The Partner to Connect Digital Coalition gives us a powerful framework that can actually help move the WSIS vision into concrete actions. As you saw in the video, this coalition, which was launched just 3 years ago, it has grown into something quite incredible, a dynamic platform that actually matches digital transformation needs. It takes those needs and it matches them with the resources to meaningfully connect underserved communities all over the world. It's a practical way to mobilize investments, to forge bold partnerships, and to deliver tangible results. That's what we want. Tangible results where it actually matters most. I think best of all, each and every pledge is actually linked to at least one WSIS action line. And I think it just goes to show that the WSIS community and the Partner to Connect Digital Coalition are actually more than the sum of their parts. While we've come a long way in 20 years, but also in 3 years since we launched Partner to Connect, we still have a long way to go. Because 2.2 billion people are still offline, and that window, the window to actually achieve our 2030 goal of bringing universal, meaningful connectivity to all people, that window is closing very fast. What we do next, and actually how quickly we do it, is what matters most. In Act 2 of Digital at UNGA, you're going to hear how our Partner to Connect champions are actually delivering incredible results at scale. You'll hear about new high-impact pledges that bring us closer to that target of achieving $100 billion in US dollars in commitments by 2026, by the end of 2026. And you're also going to see what's possible when we act together across sectors, across borders, across regions. And with that, let's move to Act 2. Femi, back to you.
Thank you, Doreen. I'm going to ask the Partner to Connect champions to come on stage. Christopher Hemmerlein is the Senior Manager of Public Policy at Amazon. Christopher, you sit closest to me. Thank you. We're going to hear from Ziping Chen. Ziping will not be taking a seat because Ziping will be joining us virtually. Melika Yetken Krilla, please come and join us on stage. Head of International Organizations for Google. Christopher Sharrock. Christopher, you were there. You're ready, standing by. Vice President of the UN Affairs and International Organization, Microsoft. And also Emilia Pinedo, Managing Institutions for Development Sector, IDB. Flavia Alves, Director of the Head of International Institutions for Meta. Hello, champions. How are you? Excellent. All right. Christopher, I'm just looking at some of the work that Amazon has done, and for WSIS, it's bold action. Things that will be transformative, those kind of actions. And Amazon has pledged to train 29 million people. That is definitely bold. How do you see that these efforts, the efforts that Amazon is putting into creating a WSIS community, being part of that WSIS community, as making change, making a difference? Why is it important for you?
Well, thank you for the question, Femi. So we're really responding at Amazon to two of the major calls from the WSIS+20 process. That's expanding access to broadband connectivity and improving digital skills. Now, Amazon was at the Digital UNGA meeting here in September, and our head of global affairs talked about Amazon's Project Kuiper, which is an initiative to bring high-speed broadband connectivity to underserved communities around the world. Well, I'm happy to say that there is no more Project Kuiper, because we've advanced so far that now we're Amazon LEO. We've launched over 150 satellites into orbit. We've built ground infrastructure around the world. And importantly, we've made partnerships with organizations who share our commitment to bridging the digital divide. But we think that providing just connectivity without digital skills is like kind of like rowing a canoe with one arm. You know, you can get a lot of movement, but you can't make a lot of progress.
Go in a circle, right?
Precisely right. You know? So that's why our original pledge for the P2C was, as you note, to provide cloud computing training for over 29 million people worldwide. So it's that combination together that really provides the opportunity for people to seize the opportunities of digital development. And we all know the list, but just because we know them doesn't mean they're less significant. It's the telemedicine, the remote learning, the entrepreneurial opportunities, and we're really proud of that. And we're doing all this really with the spirit of multi-stakeholder collaboration. You know, our training in Amazon LEO really represents a significant private investment, but every step of the way we're working with governments, with local communities to make sure that we're not just deploying technology, we're really providing opportunities that the community needs. And so really just to sum up, we are answering the major imperatives of the WSIS process through technologies at scale, through innovation, and with a spirit of partnership moving forward. So thank you.
No, we thank you very much. Thank you. Ziping Chen is going to be joining us virtually, and Ziping Chen is the Vice President of ZTE, or I should say ZTE, as I'm in the United States. And ZTE pledged $400 million annually for infrastructure building. And I'm going to ask, if I phrase this very carefully, virtually, I know that Ziping Chen will be able to answer. So this investment that you've been making, how is it going so far, Ziping Chen?
Thanks so much for the question. And my greetings to you all in New York. At ZTE, we are making solid progress. We are expanding broad and mobile coverage and upgrading networks to deliver greener, more resilient, and more affordable connectivity. These efforts are already helping local operators bring digital services to more communities. For example, our Signal-Rich program in Africa extends high-quality connectivity and digital inclusion support to remote areas. This program was recognized with a WSIS champion this year. No one left behind, including networks, connectivity, and AI. At ZTE, is bringing the foundation for AI-enabled education, healthcare, public services, and more than 18 industries that will benefit all. To conclude, stronger networks means broad access, and broader access is what ensures that AI truly benefits all. ZTE will actively fulfill its corporate responsibility, leveraging its leading network connectivity and intelligent computing power to help bridge the global digital divide. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me tell you some of the things that Google have pledged to do. AI for the SDGs, a new partnership with ITU, and also with the Will I Am Foundation. So obviously, Melike, we are seeing momentum. Can you tell us what that momentum looks like?
Absolutely. Thank you so much to the ITU and the esteemed colleagues all across the private sector that are on this panel. At Google, our mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. The foundation of that is infrastructure, as it is for many of these companies. We are committed to getting the 2.2 billion people unconnected, connected to the world. And how we're doing that is through very deep subsea cables. And let me give you a snapshot in Africa particularly. We have cables that are going down the west coast of Africa, connecting Europe to Africa, a high fiber optic cable that's going from Australia to Africa. Currently, 100 million first-time internet users are online because of these subsea cables, not to mention all of the economic benefits that people are getting from getting online. We've recently just announced a new connectivity hub in North, South, East, and West Africa that will create digital corridors for communities throughout those areas. Once people are online, we look to skills and tools. We also don't want to be rowing a one-armed canoe. First, I'm going to start with Google Translate, which we heard about from UNESCO. Currently, we have 257 languages available online. Half of those have come online in the last year because of the growth in artificial intelligence. I was just with the CEO of YouTube who said now there are online dubbing capacity. 26 languages are available for immediate auto dubbing. So YouTube creators can get online, share their voice with the world even more. And we're hearing transformational stories of their aspects and what they're able to do on the ground. I could wax eloquent about the 100 million people globally we've skilled and trained in AI and beyond, but I want to talk for a minute about our partnership with the ITU and the will.i.am Foundation, specifically looking at youth in Africa and training them on critical robotic skills, which is where the AI is headed overall. So thank you very much for this opportunity. We are optimistic about artificial intelligence and this unprecedented opportunity to benefit society, and we want to partner with you all to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher, you're looking anxious, but you don't need to be.
I'm worried about the bell, Femi, but that's okay.
Don't worry about it. Microsoft, so active, one of the most active partner to connect partners. You've got so many pledges, commitments going on. Do you want to name a few of them for us?
Well, look, I just got to start by saying what a pleasure it is to sit here and celebrate Partners to Connect, because it was back in 2021, I think, that we started talking about it, and Microsoft has been involved from the start. You know, we gave some seed funding, we got it off the ground. And I will talk a little bit about what we're doing, but I'd just like to reiterate what was on the screen. Join us. People who are not involved in Partners to Connect really look to get involved. It's not only private sector bodies, it's a partnership, as we say. And at Microsoft, we are optimistic about the potential of AI to really contribute to so many of the WSIS action lines. But the lens that we look through is that of diffusion. You know, how is this technology getting around the world and spreading around the world? And the reality is that that is a very uneven picture. So we published a report from Microsoft just a few weeks ago on AI diffusion that showed that AI usage in the global north is about twice what it is in the global south. So if we're starting from that position, then clearly we are facing some barriers in the global south, or indeed around the world. And those barriers have already been talked about. Those are barriers of connectivity, access to infrastructure, affordable devices, and of course the skilling that everyone talks about. And we have to be really, really clear-eyed and say, well, we've got to address all of those barriers head on. And so that's where we start when we're thinking about pledges, when we're thinking about action, when we're thinking about programs that we can do. How can we really address those barriers? So a couple of the things that we've done. Look, earlier this year we announced a program called Elevate, which is a commitment to use $4 billion to improve access for 20 million people around the world. That's looking at skilling and looking really at workforce transformation, which is what we're going to need to really put AI to its best use. And then another program which we've certainly pledged in relation to P2C in the past is the Airband program, where we committed to connect 250 million people worldwide, of which 100 million would be in Africa, and we committed to do that by the end of 2025. Well, we have connected 117 million in Africa in 2025. We announced just a week or so ago. So I'm super proud of that. We're delivering on our pledges, and we're going a little bit further. But in the end, we're only going to do this with partnerships. So, you know, on the connectivity, it's with Mwingu and Cassava in Africa. It's with M-Kopa on devices in Africa. Of course, it's with UN agencies like UNDP. We just announced a partnership with the African Development Bank that's going to focus on the agricultural sector. And of course, it comes back to programs like this, ITU, Partner to Connect. Thanks, Doreen, for your leadership in this. And I'll stop there.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Emilio, I was just looking at the IDB and the $1 billion worth of pledges that you have made as part of Partner to Connect. Can you just tell us a little bit more about the Latin America, the Caribbean region, and the investment that is being made there and the impact it's been making?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here. And for the Inter-American Development Bank, this partnership, and in particular the coordination and collaboration with ITU, has been crucial, has been instrumental in all the technical and operational work that we have had in the region over the last years. And we're fully convinced that this partnership strengthens our ability to advance universal and meaningful connectivity to all countries in the region. So we're fully committed to remain that way. And as a Partner to Connect champion, the IDB has made three main pledges, three key pledges. The first one, which you already mentioned, is to finance digital infrastructure with social economic purposes, applying all different elements of social, environmental, and financial sustainability. And we have, our portfolio is already around 1 billion investment loans that are supporting different aspects of digital infrastructure. Our second key pledge is to promote a holistic digital ecosystem, meaning modernizing regulations, building human capital, and supporting innovative startups. And we do that mostly through policy reforms-based operations and also technical assistance. And the third key pledge that we have made is to co-develop, along with our partners from ITU, the digital infrastructure map, which is a groundbreaking tool that identifies connectivity gaps across the 26 countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. And all these pledges, they have already produced very tangible outcomes and results. And let me exemplify a couple of them. In Guatemala, this year, in May 2025, we co-hosted a P2C matchmaking acceleration meeting. And in this event, we marked the launch of the country's national connectivity plan and mobilized over 13 million in new pledges. And more than 65 participants engaged in discussions about data governance and municipal permitting barriers, and leading to very specific recommendations on how to address these barriers, and also how to have a one-stop permit and infrastructure data place in the government. A second example, in Jamaica, during the ICT Week in October 2025, we showcased the Jamaica Connectivity Mapping Project that we developed jointly with ITU. This tool uses geospatial data and cost modeling to guide broadband investments and support national priorities under Jamaica's 2030 vision. And the session generated partnerships for digital learning, digital trade facilitation, involving actors such as UNICEF, European Union, and private sector innovators. So, to conclude, I want to reiterate the full commitment that the IDB has to ensure that every community in Latin America and the Caribbean benefit from universal, meaningful connectivity. So thank you very much, and we look forward for this partnership.
Thank you. So I'm just going to have a little conversation with my colleagues and friends at the back corner just here. I am hearing your bilateral side meetings. In fact, they are so intense you don't even realize I'm addressing you. And so I'm actually specifically making eye contact with you and asking you very kindly, very politely, to not make me have to come over there and walk over there and shush you. Because we are doing billions of dollars in extraordinary work over here, and you are chatting about, I'm not quite sure what, but there will be so much time to network and to chat a little bit later. So I don't want to gossip and chat shame you, but I will for now. But now that I have your attention, I'm going to ask you, after we have said thank you to Flavia, who's about to tell us something very special, to hear the biggest cheer and applause for our Partner to Connect champions, because I know you're in good voice this afternoon. Stand by, put a pause on the conversation just for a moment. I know we're asking a lot, but this is so important. And I thank you for your attention. Before I say hello, Flavia.
Hello.
We have a baby on the
everyone
stage.
looking at me.
Like
Yeah,
our
that's
newest
great.
partner.
Thank you.
My goodness, Meta. Welcome.
Yes, thank you
to
very
the
much.
partnership. What are you doing as far as connecting is concerned?
Great. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join this panel. And it's a pleasure to wrap it up with some exciting news from Meta today. We are finally excited to announce that we are joining Partner to Connect as a champion partner as well. As part of that, we are pledging that we are going to be lending subsea cables over thousands of countries through all regions. We are very excited with this initial commitment. Let's be real, industry needs to invest on real infrastructure. There's no way for internet to pick it up, connectivity to grow, and these AI-powered technologies to come if we do not invest in infrastructure. So as part of our initial pledge, we are going to be lending thousands of cables over the next 5 years throughout all regions. That is Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe, and so more. We have Project Weatherworth, Bifrost, Apricot, Kendall, Malbec, and just last week, we finally announced the completion of our To Africa, our longest one-system cable in the world. This is going to be connecting East and West Africa, and then linking completely to South Asia, Europe, as well as the Middle East to bring connectivity to all. This will reach out 33 countries and will be reaching 37% of the world's population. That means that they will have more and better connectivity to the internet. These kind of investments are not only about facilitating internet connectivity, as my colleague Malik said, it's also about investing on economic growth. We expect that this Africa to Connect cable is going to increase at least 36.9 billion of GDP in the next early stage of the connectivity. Meta is stepping up the game with these investments in subsea cables and other essential infrastructures. This is all about making global connectivity better, empowering, pioneering IE apps, especially in places where connectivity is just getting started. Better connectivity also means better opportunity for everyone. Our massive infrastructure commitment, it's all about making sure that everyone gets to be a part of the technological future. And there is not a better opportunity for me to announce this than here at Partner to Connect. Thanks, Doreen, for your leadership in this, and you look forward to work with you in the years to come.
Thank you so much, Partner to Connect champions. I know it's not easy to sit on a stage and talk to a whole audience, but we really do appreciate you. And the corner over there in particular are going to cheer you so loudly when you get off the stage that you won't mind a little bit of hubbub earlier. Thank you, champions. Please take your seats. Thank you. Take care. All right, and now we are taking the pledges into the room to see what pledges are out there and what pledges we're going to update as well. When I call your name, please stand. put your hand in the air and a microphone will fly into it, but in a very safe way. Matching the WSIS Action Lines. Ariel Roth. Ariel. Good afternoon, Ariel. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Communications and Information Administrator, National Telecommunications and Information Administration. Now I know why the acronym is NTIA.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here representing NTIA at the U.S. Department of Commerce. I want to begin by acknowledging a few realities that frame this moment. Today is the first day of Hanukkah. Hanukkah is not a vague celebration of light over darkness. It commemorates the Maccabees' victory against religious persecution, the rededication of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, and the defense of the Jewish people's right to live openly and faithfully as Jews. It's a reminder that religious freedom is not abstract. It is something that must be defended, sometimes at great cost. That history feels painfully relevant today. Over the weekend, we learned of a horrific anti-Semitic attack against the Australian Jewish community during a Hanukkah celebration. This was not an isolated incident. It's part of a global surge of anti-Semitism that has become more frequent, more violent, and more brazen, and too often met with silence and equivocation. Moments like this underscore why the structures that protect freedom and limit the reach of coercive power matter so much. Over the past several decades, the open internet has often served as one of the strongest checks on oppression, exposing abuses, amplifying dissenting voices, and allowing individuals to organize beyond the reach of authoritarian control. That freedom did not emerge by accident. It exists because the internet was built on openness, decentralization, and a multi-stakeholder model that resists control by any government or treaty regime. Preserving that model is essential if the internet is to remain a force for freedom rather than a tool of coercion. Those principles are reflected in practical on-the-ground efforts to expand global connectivity. I'd like to recognize Secretary General Bogdan Martin and her leadership at the ITU to strengthen oversight, increase transparency, and advance private sector partnerships and promote connectivity around the world. The United States is proud to support the re-election of Doreen Bogdan Martin as the ITU Secretary General. As NTIA undertakes our own efforts to ensure broadband availability for every American, I'd like to share a few lessons from our experiences at home to support Doreen in the ITU's work. This year, we reformed a $42 billion broadband expansion program known as BEAD to deliver universal high-speed connectivity at a fraction of the cost. By eliminating unnecessary, burdensome rules and restoring market-driven tech neutrality, we saw a remarkable increase in participation and competition, yielding an estimated savings to the taxpayer of $21 billion. There are many lessons from this program that we intend to share globally as part of our Partner to Connect commitment so that others can benefit from our experiences. It's particularly appropriate in light of Doreen's background. Earlier in her career, Doreen served as policy analyst on satellite matters at NTIA, an experience that resonates even more as space becomes central to the future of connectivity. Recent innovations in satellite technology promise seamless, uninterrupted connectivity even in the most remote areas. NTIA looks forward to working with developing countries through Partner to Connect to deepen understanding of the incredible progress in satellite broadband innovation. We're pleased to partner with the US TTI on this effort. We'll share our recommendations for introducing and integrating next-generation satellite technologies into communications markets. Our training will focus on the benefits of ensuring a free market for satellite where all countries are on equal regulatory footing. As space and satellite items take center stage at the upcoming 2027 WRC, an important goal of the training is to better prepare attendees to participate in the 2026 Plentypot, WRC, and beyond. As we mark 20 years since WSIS, the lessons from the United States is simple. Progress is driven not by centralized control or mission creep, but by free markets, legal predictability, and industry-driven cooperation. America will continue to lead by example while working with our partners around the world to expand opportunity. And when governments abide by the rule of law and allow competition and private investment to flourish, connectivity expands faster, innovation accelerates, and taxpayers get better results. We believe collaboration works best when it respects national sovereignty, fosters private sector investment, and remains focused on enabling, not managing, technological progress. Thank you, and I look forward to our continued collaboration.
Thank you. Lisa Felton is the Managing Director of the Vodafone Foundation, and I really want you to concentrate when you look at the video, that she sent us, because if you were wondering, what does a pledge look like? What does the action part of a pledge look like? This is what it looks like. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us virtually.
Picture a classroom in a refugee camp, a child holding a tablet connected to the world beyond the camp's borders. For that child, connectivity isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. That's the vision behind WSIS, universal, meaningful connectivity for all. And the ITU's Partner to Connect coalition is turning that vision into reality. Vodafone and Vodafone Foundation are proud to be long-standing, committed Partner to Connect pledgers and active voices at Digital UNGA, the UN platform for critical digital issues. But for us, it's about practical action, not just promises. First, action on access. Vodafone is advancing our Partner to Connect commitment by bringing 4G to an additional 70 million people in sub-Saharan Africa. Since March 2022, we've already reached over 56.4 million more people. Second, action on adoption, because connectivity only matters if people can use it. At the Global Refugee Forum in 2023, Vodafone Foundation and UNHCR pledged, through Partners to Connect, to reach 500,000 refugee and host community students and 8,000 teachers by 2026, scaling our instant network school sites to over 200 across Africa. We're delivering on that pledge. For example, this year, 28 new instant schools classrooms opened in Mozambique and Egypt, with 130,000 students reached. To date, over 382,000 students and 6,888 teachers have been supported. We've shown what's possible when pledges turn into progress, but the challenge is bigger than any one organisation. So today, I invite every leader to become a Partner to Connect pledger. Together, we can ensure no child and no community is left behind.
Check in on some pledges to see how they're going. Fraser Graham. Fraser, where are you? Oh, perfect. Excellent. Fraser, Director of Public Affairs, Oredu. How's the pledge going?
Well, let me tell you.
Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Femi. And special thanks to both ITU and UNDP for convening this Digital UNGA today. I'd like to take the opportunity to provide a status update on Ooredoo's current pledge and give a broad outline of our next one. Our current pledge of $1.1 billion was made in February 2024, and it's for improving and increasing mobile coverage, quality of service, and digital transformation in the developing markets of our footprint, including Algeria, Tunisia, and the Maldives. At the end of 2024, we're ahead of schedule on the investment outlined in this pledge, standing at $454 million. But these are more than just dollar numbers, and they have a profound impact on the communities of our footprint countries. So, 3 examples. There was a time when staying connected across the scattered islands of the Maldives meant waiting, buffering, and accepting limitations. That's why Ooredoo has been working to bring the future into the everyday lives of Maldivians, wherever they are. And today we reach 80% of the population with our 5G. In Tunisia, actions implemented from early 2024 to enhance 4G mobile coverage has now improved to 98.5% at the end of last year. Third example from Algeria. This is an example of working with government, a successful example. So we're working in association with the Algerian telecoms regulator under the Universal Service Project. And we are connecting 1,200 low population density localities. The main condition of this project is the deployment of new equipment and ensuring coverage exactly equivalent to that within our 4G license. But we're doing much more. Ooredoo Group is currently in the final stages of committing to a further rollout of infrastructure to help increase connectivity in the MENA region and beyond. This infrastructure will consist of deployments of cutting-edge optical fibre solutions covering both submarine and terrestrial cable routes. We aim to formalise this new commitment in a second pledge to be made at MWC Barcelona in March. Both these pledges contribute directly to ITU's objectives to achieve meaningful and universal connectivity. And we look forward to continuing our strong support of ITU as together we work towards harnessing innovation and connecting everyone to ensure a better future for all. Thank you.
Thanks, Fraser. Sandra Maximiano. Sandra, where are you? Here. Ah, fantastic. Me looking everywhere except where Sandra is. Chairwoman of ANACOM Board of Directors. An update, please.
Okay, thanks a lot for the invitation. And Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ensuring meaningful access to knowledge and information remains essential to addressing persistent digital divides and to advancing inclusive and sustainable digital development. In this endeavor, cooperation, dialogue, and shared learning are of particular importance. Building on these principles, ANACOM, the Portuguese Communications Authority, engages in digital cooperation with sister regulatory authorities in Portuguese-speaking countries, particularly in Africa and Asia. Recall that Portuguese is spoken by 250 million people across 4 continents and is one of the most used languages in the internet. This cooperation is guided by established protocols that support capacity building programs, knowledge exchange, technical assistance, and institutional dialogue. The capacity building initiatives addresses a broad range of topics relevant to the evolving digital environment, and each year involve approximately 100 officials from regulatory authorities from the beneficiary countries. In this context, ANACOM intends to continue supporting capacity building programs to further strengthen cooperation and experience sharing with regulatory authorities and relevant stakeholders for Portuguese-speaking countries, and to explore opportunities for extending cooperation to other developing countries where appropriate. Through these efforts, ANACOM seeks to contribute to bridging remaining digital divides and to advancing the achievement of sustainable development goals. The estimated financial value of this commitment is approximately $1 million for the period 2025 to 2029, covering both bilateral and multilateral cooperation activities. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Anne Etz is the head of the Novartis Foundation and a big supporter of Digital at UNGA. She joins us via video. Hello, Anne.
Hello, everyone. I'm grateful to ITU and UNDP for inviting me to contribute to this 20th anniversary of the World Summit on the Information Society edition, Digital at UNGA. And I'm sorry I cannot be with you in person today, but when we met in September, we highlighted how responsible private sector innovation can accelerate the achievement of SDG 3, as long as it's paired with strong digital inclusion. What stayed with me from that discussion was the shared resolve to ensure that digital solutions truly expand access and opportunity for all. At the Novartis Foundation, this commitment guides our work. We partner with governments and local leaders to harness data and AI to reduce cardiovascular risk at population level. And we strengthen health systems, improving the well-being of entire communities thanks to the inclusion of digital and AI technologies. We have learned that digital innovation only succeeds when it's co-created with those who will use it, and when it gets embedded in public policies that have equity at their center. As you gather again today in New York, you have an important opportunity to turn that collective ambition into sustained action. The future of digital transformation must remain people-centered, inclusive, and accountable, ensuring that every community can benefit from the power of innovation. Thank you again for including the Novartis Foundation in this dialogue, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate with all of you to ensure that digital truly delivers for people and for prosperity.
Thank you, Anne. Ralph Bredel. Ralph. Hello, Ralph. All right, so Ralph is Director and Representative to the UN headquarters from UNIDO. I am a journalist, so I have a feeling that there's some breaking news in the air, Ralph. Would I be wrong?
Depends. Thank you very much, Femi. So, distinguished colleagues, infrastructure connectivity is obviously very important, but it's equally important that we seize economic opportunities arising from it. So while ITU and Partner to Connect have been working to connect the world and bring them online, UNIDO is very proud to complement this very important work by focusing on what follows. Ensuring that innovators and firms in developing countries, especially SMEs, can harness AI and digital technologies to compete in the global economy. So our Global Alliance on AI for Industry and Manufacturing is UNIDO's flagship platform for the responsible deployment of AI in industry. So today, AIM Global convenes about 200 members from governments, civil society, academia, and most importantly from industry, and across about 70 countries. So our pledge today is we are committing to put AIM Global at the disposal of Partner to Connect coalition and also the network of its pledgers. And we're convinced that by joining hands, we can fast-track the adoption of digital technologies, empower local value creation, and accelerate investments, particularly in the most vulnerable countries, LDCs, LLDCs, and SITs. So in summary, we look forward to joining the Partner to Connect network and invite everyone to join us too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, that sounds like applause that have been applauding for the last 2 hours, and I empathize with you. If you are sitting down, stand up for 30 seconds. I know you need it. I know you do. If you've been standing up for 2 hours, find a seat and sit down. All right, we're nearly there. We're nearly at Act 3, okay? Stay with me, it will be worth it. There will be such a spread of food and drink. You'll be happy you spent 3 hours in the delegates' dining room. Please be seated. As you sit, we are going to take a look at some video slides of some of the pledges that we weren't able to get onto the stage, but we know you would love to see. Let's take a look. And so we head into Act 3. We are heading towards the finale. Act 3 is looking ahead, the next decade. What will that look like? Hao Liang-Shu from the UNDP will start off this final part of our program this afternoon. Thank you so much, Associate Administrator of the UNDP.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Femi, and friends and colleagues. From the previous two acts, we have really heard impressive, transformational stories and successes, right, from industries, from organizations supporting young women, girls, and building government systems that are using the transformative power of digital technologies and technology in general, right, for sustainable development. So reflecting on these 20 years of success, right, which is really built on partnerships, right, built on solidarity, built on cooperation. Right. So how can we keep this momentum and build on this and make the next third generation, third decade of WSIS the most powerful, most impactful. Right? So we have seen even last year major milestones in technology. The generative AI that changes the way we create contents, video, text, and so forth, right? The open AI models that generates new possibilities of innovation, right? The AI agents that changes the way we're working, right? But it's more than AI. Right? We have also quantum computing that is developing rapidly. Right? We have digital twins, that are changing the way that countries or people, communities, right, and see themselves and preserve their future. Right? But it's not only about technology, right? It's about also how we safeguards, the rules, create safeguards, right? Create the rules that encourage safe and inclusive use of technology for communities, right? And so forth. Right? So I think looking at the future, the new forms of collaboration, new forms of partnerships, new forms of financing, without which we cannot achieve results at the scale. Right? I think this is what this next act is about. We will hear from governments, private sector, civil society, but also academic and research communities about their views about the future. So I look forward to that. Thank you.
We are going to start by harnessing and looking at AI, harnessing it for an inclusive digital future. Professor Bamidele Adebisi. Hello, Professor. Please come on stage. I was going to mention all of your titles, but we only have the room until 6:30. But would you like to mention a few of them that are pertinent to the conversation we're about to have?
All right. Thank you, Femi. That caught me unawares. But yeah, I'm a professor. Maybe, is that okay?
Oh, that one I knew.
All right. So I also have an MB, which is Members of British Empire, given to me by the King in January this year for my work to industry.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Very impressive. All right. Very good. I'm going to ask you something that's very straightforward and probably shorter than the introduction to any one of your lectures that you give, which is, if we're looking for inclusive, resilient digital development, what do we need to do?
Yes, we need to put people at the heart of whatever we design. So people like myself, we stay in the lab, we discover stuff, and usually we stay like 10 years ahead, maybe 15 years. So I think the world needs to look at it differently now. We need to look at how we co-create, we co-design, and co-deliver with people so that we actually understand what people need. It is not technology push, but more of technology pull, where what people really need now is what we focus on. If you want me to kind of get that into more infrastructure.
So you're already in 2035 in terms of your work?
Well, that's the way we work. You need people like me to think like that.
Wow, what's happening?
In 2020, in 35?
Yeah,
exactly. So in 2035, in terms of, so my work is in the area of infrastructure. So for people, I'm sure we're in terms of infrastructure. When your mobile phone first, I'm sure it's happened to you before, you want to make that payment and it doesn't go through, you blame your devices, you blame your app. But actually, most of the time, it's as a result of infrastructure behind the apps and the devices. They work well, but actually, they are static today. They are reactive, meaning they respond only when there is failure to it. The future, which is what you asked for, is going to be very different. It's going to be something that, water network, transport system, grid system, including connectivity, they will all be powered by, AI, and they will be characterized by three things, if you allow me to mention them. One will be intelligence, second will be convergence, and the third one will be what I would call invisibility. I will explain. One, intelligence means we will have the opportunity to be able to acquire data. That data from diverse sources will give us what we call information through connectivity as the backbone. And we'll be able to analyze that with AI, which will give us information. Amazing, because with information, you can make better decisions and so on and so forth. But the second one, which is convergence, is that systems and infrastructure will not work in silos. They will be able to create things that work together, and these synergies will improve efficiency. Invisibility, you know, I remember I talked about the fact that infrastructure, they are visible, okay, when something fails. You will actually notice them when there's failure. But in the future, you won't notice infrastructure. That's the aim. The aim, you know, I think someone mentioned earlier on digital twinning, because we'll be able to create a software replica of physical assets, and they'll be able to self-monitor, self-maintain, self-heal themselves, in which case they will be at the background, you won't notice them. All that you will notice will be the interfaces, there will be the app, but you won't know that the infrastructure are there because they work very well, and they can self-heal themselves when there's problems.
Professor, I feel like I'm one of your students in a lecture. I feel the energy and the enthusiasm coming off of you.
Thank you.
And I also feel if I don't thank you, the lecture will continue.
Exactly.
Professor Adebisi, thank you for your enthusiasm.
You're welcome.
And your knowledge and your insight into the future.
Thank you.
We thank you. Thank you so much. All right, bold action for the next decade of WSIS. We are going to do this boldly and speedily. Yanis Kaklins. Hello, thank you so much. Bold action from the head of government engagement for ICANN. What does that look like? What is that?
Good afternoon, everyone. Probably if there is somebody whom to blame for today's event, that might be me, because I had the privilege 20 years ago to chair the preparatory committee of the World Summit on Information Society Tunis phase, which coined the global vision on information society. People-centered, open, inclusive information society that would live in a global digital village. And the dream of global digital village has faded over a period of time and has lost some color. And if I would need to propose one bold action for the next decade, that would be to revive this goal of building global digital village by collaboration of different stakeholder groups acting in their roles and responsibilities. This collaboration is known as a multi-stakeholder digital governance model, and this has proven its efficiency in past 2 decades. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anke Sikema, the Deputy Director of the Ministry of Economic Affairs for the Netherlands. One bold action for us. What is it?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with all these distinguished speakers. And on a personal note, I'd like to compliment you on how you are a master of ceremony here today, because it's not easy to start at 3. It start when it's still light outside, and then now when we see.
I'm so happy that you're all still in the room.
Yeah. So I wanted to start by that. And I have some ideas on how the Kingdom of the Netherlands looks at the future of the WSIS implementation. And let me start by saying that we look at it with optimism and with hope that we can create a truly inclusive and human-centric digital society where digital divides can be bridged. And we also trust that we can overcome political divides to work together on concrete initiatives that contribute to this important subject. And Yanis already mentioned that the multi-stakeholder model is one of them. And I would like to touch very briefly on inclusivity, human rights online, and digital health, where the WSIS is about leaving no one behind. We've heard it several times today. The Netherlands is engaging in an UNCTAD initiative on the e-trade for women, which is about the empowerment of women in e-trade policies. And we think that is very important, as well as the promotion and defense on human rights online, and committed to ensure access to objective information while engaging to combat climate change. And in line with Action Lines 3 and 7, we are strongly supporting UNESCO's global initiative on information integrity regarding climate change. And my last point is about digital health, where the Netherlands is chairing the Global Digital Health Partnership, which is an initiative of the WHO that brings together stakeholders to accelerate digital public infrastructure development. And I'd like to end, because I know you don't have a lot of time, to say that we look at WSIS as an instrument that has allowed for adaptability, the necessary flexibility to address new digital challenges. And that's why we believe that WSIS will continue to serve as a key framework for digital transformations in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. One bold action for the next decade of WSIS from the Minister of Economy and Innovation in Albania, Her Excellency Delina Ibrahimaj. Good afternoon.
Hi, good evening,
Hello.
everyone. Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Congratulations to ITU and UNDP for organizing this, for keeping people here, listening, engaged. One bold action would be, in my opinion, in our opinion, not to be counting how many people are connected, but to be counting how many people are meaningfully empowered to use digital tools to change their lives. And why this? Because I'll give the example of Albania. We are a small country. We are very much connected. Before 2020, more than 90% of our services were digital. Nevertheless, only 2% were using digital services because people didn't know the efficiency of it and wouldn't trust the digital services. Then the pandemics happened, everything closed. Everyone was, it was obliged, it was the only means to receive the services. So all of a sudden, everyone understood that it was about, it gave opportunity and it brought us resilience. So I think the WSIS for the next decade should focus on empowering people to use digital tools. It would focus on increasing education, AI education, cybersecurity education, awareness. It should focus on letting people know what to trust and what to not trust. And it also should focus and can have a very important role into making technology inclusive for all, but also being able not to create technology that creates dependency, but inclusiveness.
Thank you so much. Thank you. A few days ago, I had a LinkedIn request, and it was from somebody called Joshua Ingersoll, who told me he was going to be a speaker in a few days' time. I was like, this person is keen. And then I'm like, oh, ITU Youth Advisory Board, taking the initiative. Joshua, we're already on LinkedIn, but now we get to meet IRL.
Hey, thank you.
How are you?
And I'm going to hop up on stage just because my parents are watching the live stream.
Oh my goodness. Let me get off the stage so you can have all the glory. Welcome.
No, thank you, Madam Moderator and distinguished delegates. Looking ahead to the next decade of WSIS, I'd like to offer a perspective from the generation that will inherit the systems we're building today. When ITU Resolution 73 was signed in Minneapolis in 1998, I was in diapers. I'll spare you the details. But it does mean that my generation didn't design these systems. We will be the ones responsible for running, maintaining, and improving them. That contrast matters. Youth doesn't mean inexperience. It means we are the ones who will have to live with the consequences of these long-term decisions that are being made today. I share these remarks as stated. As the American member of the ITU Youth Advisory Board, which brings early career professionals into the ITU's work on digital development and emerging technologies. I'm grateful to Doreen for the appointment and for her leadership in creating real pathways for young professionals to contribute meaningfully, not just symbolically, to this process. Thank you. My message is simple. If we want a more informed, intelligent, and digitally inclusive society, we must invest in the people who will run it. That means resisting the temptation to treat AI as a replacement for early career talent. Governments, multilateral institutions, and industries still need entry-level roles, internships, apprenticeships, and on-the-job training. I wouldn't be up here on this stage without those experiences. Short-term productivity gains derived from AI cannot come at the expense of long-term institutional strength. Second, digital cooperation must move faster and work better across borders. Standards, regulatory models, and digital public infrastructure should travel with less friction, and young professionals need structured ways like this to participate and not just observe. The future of WSIS isn't just about connecting people, it's about equipping them as well. Thank you.
Sarah Hendricks from UN Women joins us via video. Let's take a look at the screen.
Excellencies, colleagues, and friends, it is such an honor to join you for the WSIS+20 edition of the Digital UNGA. The WSIS+20 outcome document sends such a clear message. Gender equality is foundational to the digital future we all want. It reaffirms that women's full, equal, and meaningful participation in the digital space is non-negotiable. It highlights persistent gender digital divides, and it urges stronger action to support women-led enterprises. It also calls for every WSIS action line to actually integrate gender equality as a core element with the full involvement of UN Women. At the same time, the outcome document underscores that technology must advance human rights and protect the safety and the dignity of all users. It stresses the urgency of eliminating all forms of violence, including sexual and gender-based violence, that occur through or are amplified by digital technologies. This really resonates strongly with UN Women's just concluded global 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, where we rallied together with the world for the vision of a world in which technology is a force for equality and not for harm. This year's Beijing +30 review really echoed the same urgency. It stresses the need to future-proof gender equality by integrating digital and innovation and data together. And the evidence is unmistakable. Investing in closing the gender-digital divide would benefit over 350 million women and girls right across the globe. And it would result in investment into an additional $100 trillion cumulatively into the global economy. So the question is, what is one bold action for the next decade of WSIS? The answer? Make gender equality a core and measurable requirement for every digital investment, whether it's public or private, across all WSIS action lines. Not as a footnote, not as an add-on, but really as a condition, as a precondition for partnership, for financing, for accountability. If every digital policy platform, service, and innovation is designed, tested, and governed with women's rights right at the center, we will not only close the gender digital divide, but we also unlock the full power of digital transformation for sustainable development. This is the decade. It's the decade to be bold. So let us choose inclusion by design, equality by default, and a digital future that's shaped by all of humanity. Thank you so much.
We continue to look for one bold action from Thibault Kleiner, Director for Future Networks, DG CNECT, European Commission. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me today. So indeed, the internet revolution, the last 20 years, has brought so much. But I think we should remember that it was based on some foundational principles like openness, like interoperability. And I think, like the professor was saying, if we look at where we are heading, it is an even more powerful revolution with the convergence of technologies like connectivity, AI, compute, data, working together to make a new reality, what sometimes I call a new way of natural interaction with objects that are powered by intelligence. This is so powerful that is raising two questions. The first one is, how are we going to make this fantastic technology work for people? Are we going to produce some governance so that we make sure that it is not making us object of the technology, but rather empower people? And secondly, it is raising a lot of anguish. If you look at the discussions we are having today through the WSIS+20, very few companies, very few countries are actually mastering this very powerful revolution. Are we going to have technology as a source of domination, or are we going to have technology as a source of partnership, and so that we share its benefits? I think from the EU, we believe that we can govern the technology. We have developed some regulation for this, and we would invite more to join us. And we believe that through partnership, we can deliver a better future for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Representative to the United Nations and Head of Multilateral Affairs for the World Bank, Maria Dimitriadou.
Thank you, Femi, and ITU and UNDP colleagues for the kind invitation. Always a pleasure to be with you. Now, speaking for the World Bank Group, the bold action is we need to focus on delivery of universal, affordable, digital and AI foundations for every country, so that all people can benefit from the benefits, harness the benefits of digital transformation while managing risks. We heard it, digitalization drives jobs, creates inclusion, resilience and sustainability. A mere 10% increase in broadband penetration can lift by up to 2% in GDP in low and middle income countries. And we saw that in during COVID-19, countries with digital identification systems reached 3 times more people with cash transfers. So that's exactly the power of digital foundations wherever they exist. However, gaps are deepening. We see today that 93% of people in high-income countries are online, compared to just 27% in low-income countries. Mobile data in Africa costs 12 times more than in Europe. And UNDP colleagues mentioned it. There are 850 million people still lacking official identification. So this divides limit growth and opportunities. At the same time, AI is accelerating at unprecedented speed. Two just selected data. High-income countries produce 87% of notable AI motors and 91% on venture funding. And although low-income and middle-income countries represent nearly half of the world's population, they receive less than 1% of AI seed startup financing. So without decisive action, we will see AI widening inequalities further. So this is why the World Bank Group believes that the next decade should focus on delivering at scale the 4 C's of AI readiness: connectivity, compute, context, and competency. These are essential building blocks so that countries can participate in the AI economy, but also shape it, as we heard previously, according to their needs and values. Small AI is a big part of the solution, which is affordable, accessible, and designed with everyday devices, so people and countries can leapfrog using phones, laptops, and community-level data that already they have. So to conclude, the World Bank Group is raising its ambition. We have been delivering a record of $6 billion in digital portfolio in over 60 projects and over 100+ countries to expand connectivity, make devices and data affordable, unlock digital ecosystems, and strengthen countries' AI readiness. And all that with strong digital safeguards. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love the combination of portfolios that our next speaker has. Tech Ambassador and also Minister of Foreign Affairs for Denmark. Let's take a look at the video.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I am Anne-Marie Ingtoft-Melgaard, and I'm Denmark's Tech Ambassador. I'm so sorry I could not be there with you today, but I would like to share our perspective on the future of the World Summit on Information Society. The technological landscape has fundamentally transformed since WSIS was first established. New and emerging technologies have an unprecedented impact on our societies and on our lives. Our shared challenge now is to ensure that that technological development contributes positively to society, to better and more accessible education, to better and more affordable healthcare, and to sustainable growth and opportunities for everyone, everywhere. In the next decade of WSIS, we should maintain strong ambitions and show our commitment to a human-centric and a human rights-based approach to digital governance and ultimately to our digital lives. This is not just a preference. This is a necessity. We must affirm that the fundamental human rights we strive to uphold offline do equally apply online. This action will reinforce the legitimacy and effectiveness of the multi-stakeholder model, strengthen the vital discussions on the Internet Governance Forum, and ensure technology serves humanity, not the other way around. The nature of the Internet is global, and we must cooperate on shared principles and a commitment to protecting the open, free, global, interoperable, reliable, and secure Internet. Denmark is fully committed to this endeavor with all of you, and I look forward to our collaboration. Thank you.
His Excellency Jitin Prasada is the Union Minister of State for Ministry of Commerce and Industry and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology in India. Welcome. You're a very patient person, and we appreciate your patience.
Thank you. Not as patient as you.
That's true.
Excellencies, colleagues, and friends, it is a pleasure to join the WSIS+20 special edition of the Digital UNGA, a platform that has become an important space for shaping forward-looking and practical conversations on global digital cooperation. As we reflect on the 20 Voices for 2035, India experience points to a clear lesson. Digital transformation delivers enduring value when digital systems are treated as public goods, open, interoperable, trusted, and designed for inclusion. Over the past decade, India has built population-scale digital public infrastructure that enables identity, payments, paperless services, and consent-based data exchange. These systems were designed not as isolated technologies, but as shared foundations that governments, innovators, and citizens can build upon with confidence. This approach is especially relevant for the global South. Countries today are seeking digital solutions that are affordable, adaptable, and sovereign by design. Many are now tailoring similar models to their own legal, cultural, and economic context. To support this collective learning, India has contributed to the Global Digital Public Infrastructure Repository, bringing together technical artifacts, governance frameworks, and implementation insights that can help accelerate adoption while respecting national priorities. Artificial intelligence is now shaping the next phase of digital development. Through the India AI mission, India is expanding access to compute, developing reusable data sets, supporting indigenous models, and investing in multilingual platforms such as the Bhashini. Our guiding principle is simple. AI must expand opportunity and human capability, not reinforce existing divides. WSIS looks to the future. AI governance frameworks must therefore be practical, inclusive, and usable for developing countries, not only for technologically advanced economies. A trusted digital future also depends on the resilient infrastructure, strong cybersecurity. India's experience demonstrates that cyber resilience is built through capable institutions, skilled human capital, and sustained international cooperation. Capacity building and information sharing must remain central to the global digital engagement. As we look towards 2035 Digital UNGA, and the WSIS reminds us that the digital future will be shaped by not technology alone, but by the collective choices we make today. In this spirit, India will host the next AI Summit in February 2026 as a platform for governments, industry, academia, civil society to share practical pathways for responsible and developed-oriented AI, particularly for the Global South. India looks forward to working with all partners to ensure that this future is inclusive, trusted, and sustainable. Thank you.
I know what you're thinking. What else is there? It's been over 2 hours. What else could there possibly be? But we haven't launched the AI Resource Hub yet. We saved the greatest to the end. And I'm going to ask the co-partners for the AI Resource Hub to come on stage. ITU, UNESCO, and UNDP. So that's Doreen Taufik and Haoliang Xu. Thank you. Doreen, please start.
Okay. Thank you, and good evening. So we're very excited to be launching the UN AI Resource Hub. It's a single platform that brings together more than 750 activities underway in the UN system. It's a demonstration of the fact that, yeah, we talk about AI a lot, but we're actually walking the talk. We're doing lots of things, and you'll see that in this new hub. It's also a product of the UN Interagency Working Group on Artificial Intelligence. It builds on the data that we've been tracking in our annual AI report. It's designed to help make AI efforts across the UN system more visible. It helps share knowledge. It also helps to advance impact on the ground. With that, I think I'm going to...
Go first.
A video, okay, sorry. Video, and then you'll hear from my
Search,
colleagues.
discover, coordinate. Welcome to the UN AI Resource Hub. This platform allows UN leadership, staff, and other stakeholders to quickly find resources, drive collaboration, and reduce the duplication of efforts. Search activities and filter by region, country, activity type, related SDG, and beneficiary. For a world view, search via the global map and explore all activities per country. Learn about each activity's purpose, partnerships, and impact metrics. Connect directly with the focal point for collaboration and check out linked assets. Find existing resources on internal UN AI guidance and upskilling. Explore the full range of UN offers and programs for and with governments across specific regions. And discover AI tools and solutions built or deployed by UN teams. Through the submission portal, AI activities can be easily reviewed and updated, and new entries can be created at any time. The organization admin has access to all submissions to ensure quality control. Together, we are thrilled to launch the central hub for all UN AI activities, empowering UN leadership and stakeholders to quickly find resources, drive collaboration, and unlock new opportunities for greater impact.
Yeah, just to add to what Doreen has said, we do believe that digital technologies and artificial intelligence, have tremendous power to accelerate the achievement of sustainable development goals. And this database shows, that we're walking the talk, but this is not just a static, database, right? So we're updating this, right? To show the variety of initiatives that we're undertaking to use power to really support the development. And it shows that we are also trying to change, to adapt to the changes that are forcing us to really change ourselves, right? So I think really a joint commitment. We look forward to use this technology, right, to support, to do more for planet and for people. So looking forward to this collaboration. Yeah.
I think all has been said by my two colleagues and friends. UNESCO was honored to join this major initiative to design, develop, and roll out this major AI resource hub. It was, as Doreen mentioned, strong collaboration in the context of the Interagency Working Group on Artificial Intelligence, which has been chaired by ITU and UNESCO. We invite you to connect to this major AI resource hub, to try it yourself and hopefully to recommend it to others. I would stop here because I think I'm almost the only obstacle between you and your cocktail reception. Enjoy it.
So, co-partners, I'm just going to ask you to stand on the part of the stage that has good lighting so that we can record this moment of working together and launching the hub. Excellent. I know this must be very exciting for everybody to watch. Actually, you're all taking pictures as well. I love that.
Okay.
Beautiful moment. Thank you. Wonderful. Taufik, I'm going to ask you to take a seat. Thank you so much. Haoling and Doreen, do you have some closing remarks you'd like to give us? Like, what's next?
Yes.
Maybe let me speak first. You're the last, best for the last.
Okay.
Because according to the plan, she's supposed to speak first.
Right,
so I think, so ITU, last word. So what I would say, Doreen, if do you agree? I can speak first.
Yes,
okay?
but come here because it's louder.
So it's better. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
The technology is not working. Maybe. Okay, thank you very much, Doreen. Right, so I hope you agree that I speak first. Okay. No, so agree? Okay, right. No, I think just to say today is really important, right? The 20 years of journey, right? It's a celebration, but also really charting the road path for the future. I think the 20 years of progress has been impressive. September this year, my talking points, right, about digital transformation is still that 2.6 billion people do not have access to internet. Today, it has been updated to 2.2 billion people. Right. So progress is being made at great speed. Right. So we should celebrate this. The partnership that enabled this change, right, is impressive. Right. Today we have governments, we have private sector companies, we have academic institutions, we have civil society organizations. Right. I think for the future, this partnership continues to be critically important. Right. So this is the one. Okay. At the same time, I think the digital gap is still very, very serious. Right? 2.2 billion people still are not connected. We have hundreds of millions of people, more than 700 million people who do not have electricity today. Right? And somebody mentioned earlier, right, that AI investment in Africa is 1.5% of the total global investment. Right? So the digital gap is scary. It's scary. So we needed to really work together, right, with a sense of urgency to close this digital gap. Right? So I think the second word I want to use in addition to partnership is the sense of urgency. Right? We really needed to work hard in the next 10 years, right, to close the digital gap, to make digital technology an enabler for inclusive development for all. Right? The last point I want to take away for myself and hopefully for the colleagues here is the importance of financing, right? Because without adequate financing from all sources of financing, right? We have a World Bank here, we have a IDB here, we have other, financing institutions here. The global, SDG financing gap every year is estimated at $4.3 trillion a year. The global ODA, as we speak today, is probably about $210 billion a year. So the financing gap is significant. And also we know public finance is not enough, not nearly enough to support development. So we need, all sorts of financing, right, to be geared towards development priorities. In this case, digital development and using that to drive all development in all areas. So let's work together using, I would advocate for integrated national financing frameworks as a framework to put all sorts of financing together to support the development of, not only data, not only information, but intelligence, right? Really, information intelligence society in the next 10 years. So thank you for this partnership. I look forward to continue the collaboration. Thank you. Thank you, ITU, Doreen, for your personal support for this partnership.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Haoling. You spoke in the beginning about this being a joint venture, and I think it's fair to say that this joint venture is actually proving quite successful and quite popular because the room is pretty full 3+ hours later. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this special WSIS+20 edition, this WSIS+20 edition of Digital at UNGA, and I do want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for your incredible contributions. Of course, a special thanks to UNESCO and our partner, UNDP, and to the Partner to Connect champions, to Amazon, to Google, to IDB, Microsoft, ZTE, and our future Meta partner to be. Thank you for that. And to the Digital at UNGA lead supporters, GSMA, Novartis, Vodafone, and of course to the ITU and UNDP teams. And if we could just have the teams, I know a lot of people are standing, so we'll applaud you too for standing more than 3 hours, but if the ITU and UNDP teams can stand up. I actually think this is a great example of the UN 80 process. This is two organizations working as one in the spirit of partnerships and efficiency. So thank you so much for that. So let me conclude with a question. What's next? I think it's a question you have all helped to answer this afternoon here at Digital at UNGA. And you have showed us what's next is intelligence. AI is here. We've seen that very clearly. We look forward to an outcome document that will reflect this, that will help us to shape the WSIS to 2035. What's next, and Hao-Liang, you just said this, is investment. We can't forget. We need 2.8 trillion to fully close the digital divide before 2030, and to bring that meaningful connectivity to everyone, everywhere, including through the Partner to Connect Digital Coalition. And perhaps most importantly, what's next is the digital inclusion of all people everywhere. And all of you have shown what that looks like in practice, driven by the WSIS Action Lines. Ladies and gentlemen, intelligence, investment, and inclusion are three powerful I's. But true digital development impact only happens when we act together as we. We is what built the information society. We is what led WSIS from Geneva to Tunis to New York to this milestone moment in history. And it's what will carry it forward into our shared digital future. If I can leave you with one Digital at UNGA takeaway, let it be this. The next decade of WSIS depends on that strength of we. This global multi-stakeholder community building a human-centered, development-oriented, intelligent society for all people and our planet together is what we must strive for. With that, I thank you so much, and I hand back to our brilliant, let's give her a round of applause, Femi.
Thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate you. We have one more star guest in the shape of cake. Please, can the cake move? Does it move?
We're trying to light the candles.
Okay, so we're lighting candles. Who can guess how many cakes there are? 20, yes. You get a cake, you get a cake, you get a piece of cake, you get a piece of a cake. All right, if you've been waiting patiently and been dying to go to the bar, you may do so, you may eat, you may have a fabulous time, except if you have spoken in the last 3 and a bit hours, because I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me, which is stand on the stage. We're going to take a big family photograph. When people see this photograph, they will say, but how long did you stay there for? And you will say, oh, it was at least 6 hours. All right, so please come on the stage.
One stage, shaping the digital future we build together. Digital at UNGA.